I just can't see you. So what it is, yo? What's up?
What's
We're
up? But we are live, yes.
yes, we're
So
live. I guess we can go ahead. I would like to see you.
I
Can you
know
see me?
I can. As always,
You can see me.
I am loving the jewelry. I can't get my words out, especially those earrings. I
Thank
I
you.
I have native roots, so those earpieces are speaking to me right now. It's taking me back to my ancestors.
Oh, well, thank you.
I love it.
I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I just kind of threw on something to be honest with you, but I'm glad it all came together. Look, our
Yes.
boo is on.
I know. Hi.
Hey,
Y'all
boo.
have to go check out she's gonna niche don't get me. Soraya Misha Beauty. Like she has some beauty tips for all of the ladies with natural hair. So please go check her out. She is doing wonderful. She just started and she has some wonderful conversations and she's even has a space for a little bit of tarot in your life. So
Ooh, I didn't know she did tarot too. Wait, hold up.
yes, ma'am.
I did tarot.
Spirit has been connecting me with the whole tribe of people, and I'm loving it. And it's amazing how we're being connected, but
Mm-hmm.
we're tapped in. Oh,
Well, that is
always,
beautiful.
yes.
That's beautiful. I don't even know where to look because I'm just like, I hear you, but okay. Yes. Well, thank you for putting sis on out there.
Yes.
I wish we could pin her comment, but I guess we can do that
Yeah.
later. Hold on. Okay. Nevertheless, thank you guys for joining us again on Cards and Conversations, where every episode unfolds a deck of intriguing discussions. This is episode Trist 3, and we are so excited to give y'all the tea. And if it's your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. I am Ashley Anye, an intuitive alchemist and energy reader, and I'm just here to help y'all heal. Because healing, or healing with laugh, run that back. I'm just here to help y'all heal, and we healing with humor. Because laughter is the best medicine. There we go. I have my words all scrambled. And Brian, you want to get from?
Yes. I am Brian. I go by B, because hey, the bees follow me, and I am a messenger. So that's what I do. And like Ashley, I am a healer. And that's the basis of everything that I do is basically surrounding healing. Even my channels that I have on YouTube are healing in the vein, and healing room tarot. Like it's you're gonna get some type of healing from me, okay? And I get it all from spirit. So whatever spirit has to say, whatever spirit wishes to reveal, that's what we're gonna do, and it's all for your healing.
All right. And make sure you drop that in the comments, and I'll see if I can pin it so they can know where they can find you at. All right.
Yes.
Now we're gonna go ahead and tap into this planetary energy. You know, we always start off, and you guys know what the moon is in, what sign the moon is in, and the moon is in the fiery sign of Aries. So you guys may be feeling impulsive, feeling like a ram in a china shop full of glass, like you could just do it, put your back into it, and that's okay because that is Aries energy. You know, all gas, no brakes. You know, feeling like you're on top of the world and you can just jump, literally. So that is Aries energy. And last time we talked about how important knowing what your moon sign is, because your moon sign is directly connected to your emotions, and it tells you exactly why you respond to things, your emotional responses to things. There you go. I'm gonna unpin that, Brian.
Thank you.
Taking over the phone. And also, guys, the moon sign is also connected to your mother and how you think and look at the person that brought you into this world. And so Brian and I thought that it would be great for us to give you guys a real treat and run down what your relationship was with your, give you guys information on what your relationship was with your mother based on your moon sign. So I'm going to start it off. I'm going to finish it as well. I'm going to go over every moon sign and all the different zodiac signs and give you guys a glimpse of what your relationship was with your mother. So without further ado, we're going to start with people. Now, if you guys aren't sure what your moon sign is, you can do a quick Google search and this will help you find what your moon sign is. I believe you have to type in your birth date. I don't think you need your time of birth.
No, you do. You will.
Oh, you do? Okay, so
yeah.
You do need your time of birth. So you corrected me. So you do need your time of birth and you'll need to type that information in. And there are several websites you can go to get this information and it'll give you what your moon sign is. And then you'll know exactly what sign your moon sign falls in. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with moon in Aries. So if you are a moon in Aries, this is what the relationship dynamic was like between you and your mother. So if your moon is in Aries, your mom is the leader of the household. Growing up, you viewed her as brave, bold, and fun-loving. She was fiery and knew exactly how to put others in their place. That's Aries energy all day. If you needed, you respected her, but may have found her to be overbearing at times. So that is moon in Aries. Moon in Taurus. This is for if your moon sign is in Taurus. If your moon is in Taurus, your mom knew how to tend to all of your creature comforts. She expressed love through food and the material nourishment she provided to you. She was very hands-on, affectionate, but also extremely headstrong and stubborn. Now that is Taurus energy. That's the bull. Bulls are not moving until they're ready to move. Not the best at negotiating. Your mom wants things to go her way or the highway. And again, that's Taurus energy. Very stubborn. Loving, but very stubborn. All right, next we're going to the Geminis. So if your moon was in Gemini, your mom is extremely expressive and intelligent. You felt most connected to her through words and your stimulating conversations with her. Her behavior at times seemed unreliable to you, but you admired her on an intellectual level, always moving. You probably felt like she was difficult to pin down as a child. And next we have one of my favorites because my daughter is a moon in Cancer. And I just have a special place in my heart for Cancer moon. Everybody who knows me knows that. Okay, so if your moon is in Cancer, you are the apple of your mother's eye. You love and care for her deeply. In fact, sometimes you served as a mother to her, comforting and consistently expressing your understanding of her emotionally. You are extremely close, sometimes too close. Your mom tends to err on the clingy over mothering side, and that's very true. I'm very clingy when it comes to my oldest child. And it's because I know she's a Cancer moon. She needs that extra, care, that extra love, TLC. So moving right along. Moon in Leo. If your moon is in Leo, your mother has always been a large presence in your life. Growing up, you felt a pressure to present yourself in a certain way in order to preserve your mother's reputation. You felt the way you looked and behaved was a direct representation of your mom, so you had to stay sharp. Your mom was potentially someone of public note, someone that many people in your neighborhood or community knew very well. Okay, that's moon in Leo. If your moon sign is in Virgo, you love your mother dearly and would move mountains for her. You are extremely protective and defensive of her. Your mother is your world. Though you have always needed her deeply, you sometimes felt like she was unable to be there for you in the ways that you yearned for her. You've been aware of her shortcomings since birth. Otherwise, you found her to be very nitpicking and critical of you. All right. Next, we have the moon in Leo. So if your moon is in Libra. If your moon is in Libra, growing up, your mother was known for her attractiveness, fashion sense, her ability to throw a fun party, and the beautiful way in which she kept her home. If your moon is in Libra, it is likely that your mother was popular for her pleasant personality, gearing towards the formal and structured in your relationship. You've learned to establish specific roles in each other's lives, making sure not to overstep them in order to maintain peace and a sense of fairness between you both. So that is moon in Libra. Next, we have moon in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio. So they usually have an intense relationship with their mother. The relationship is characterized. Did I say it right?
Yeah, characterized.
Characterized by many ups and downs, potentially even a trauma bond or experiencing intense situations together. The positive aspect of this is the extreme bonding that occurs, where you support each other through thick and thin, weathering many storms together. However, there can be a downside to this intensity, as it can sometimes feel toxic or even cruel during the lows. The moon's placement in Scorpio, which is considered its falling sign, indicates some instabilities in this relationship, making it less positive compared to the other family relationships. So that's moon in Scorpio. And next we have moon in Sagittarius.
Oh.
And your moon is...
You know, that's me, girl. That's me.
You, moon, okay. If your moon is in Sagittarius, you've always required freedom in your life, and your mother respected this. You both enjoyed a fun-loving and adventurous relationship together. If she did not fully respect your desire for freedom, you may have felt unfairly held back or restricted growing up. Wise beyond your years, you may have perceived her to be immature and naive. And that's if you guys didn't have a good relationship, which we know you guys did. So this don't apply to you.
Right.
Learning to rely on your own judgment rather than hers, which just means that you were incredibly independent. That's how I took it. Moon in Capricorn. If your moon is in Capricorn, your mother has always been more concerned with the serious matters of life. That's Capricorn energy. Always trying to get business done, but ain't no business to get done. They still doing business.
Right.
She viewed you as mature. She viewed you as mature and knew she could rely on you for support and sound judgment, self-sacrificing. She always put work before play and constantly had tons on her plate. You sometimes wondered why she worked so hard and why she didn't take an easier approach to life. She held extremely high standards for you growing up. She pushed you to be ambitious in pursuing your goals. That is definitely Capricorn energy. Moon in Aquarius. If your moon is in Aquarius, you've always viewed your mom as more of a peer than a parent. Being chastised by her felt unnatural and foreign to you, almost silly. Parenting was unconventional. You did not have the typical parent-child dynamic. You were raised to be emotionally self-sufficient and didn't rely on her for any overly emotional or affectionate relationship. Interesting. Very interesting. And last but certainly not least, if your moon sign is in Pisces, you share an extremely intuitive bond with your mother. You often look on her burdens and emotions as your own. You were extremely sympathetic to the things she went through in life and were mindful not to add anything else to her plate. You felt like her caretaker in certain ways. You felt like her caretaker in certain ways. You loved her extremely deeply and would fight for her. You are aware of all the sacrifices that she made for you, but you wish you were able to rely on her more as a child. And you may have felt like you had to grow up much quicker than you would have liked. So that concludes the moon sign reading. So again, when you go back and watch the replay, make sure you guys have your moon sign. This is not your sun sign. This is completely separate from your sun sign. Make sure you go to Google, put your birth date in and a time of birth, and find out what your moon sign is so you can see what the dynamic was between you and your mother. And that concludes the relationships for the moon signs with your mother. So that's all I have. I'm gonna kick the ball in your court, me.
Yes. So it was.
Now, pause. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Mhm.
What do you think of the accuracy of what I just read? Because mine was spot on. Mine was spot on. I'm a moon in Aquarius, and I feel like mine was spot on. Like I always saw my mother more so like a sister than a mom. And when she disciplined me, I was like, girl, stop. Stop playing.
Yeah.
Like, you are not going to spank me. Mom, stop playing. So that was definitely accurate. And the whole like emotional thing, like my mother, she like I never saw her crying growing up. Like she was like strong, you know? So that's where I think I get it from. Like being detached from my emotions sometimes, but we always had that sisterly bond. So I never felt like, you know, she didn't show emotions because she did, but we just always had that sisterly bond.
Right. And so, I was going to say it was accurate for me with the freedom because my mom always knew I hated restrictions. Like I've always been her child that, you know, that has always expressed, don't put me in a box. I got to have my freedom. Like even when it came to like my current apartment, like for the friends that's watching, you know, I've always said I love space. Well, it was because of her. Growing up, I had my own room that was big enough to like put two beds in and even a bunk bed, and I had two closets, and so I had a closet, two closets, I had a desk, you know, and a bookshelf and things like that. So you have all of that as a kid growing up. Small spaces don't appease to you. I have to have space or I feel claustrophobic. And even when I went off to college, my mom knew it was important for me to live life and express it. So she's never tried to hold me back from it. Like she hasn't always agreed with the decisions, but she's always said, you know, I'll support you any way that I can, you know. So I can say that about her. So that was very accurate with the Sagittarius moon reading. And I guess it also because my mom is a Sagittarius, so she knows. Even with her, like she has this so sense of freedom about her. So she kind of knew what she was dealing with.
Now pause because this is news to me. I did not know Mama was a Sagittarius.
Yes, my mom is a Sagittarius. Yep.
Oh my goodness, that makes sense. Like while we clicked, like immediately. Like I just felt like she was like my long lost mother, like from another lifetime. So I didn't know she was a Sagittarius. And you know what? Building off of what you said about needing space, that is definitely Sagittarius energy, and that's why that's your moon sign and also your rising sign too.
Yep.
Right?
And my rising.
We need to have space, and I think a lot of people misinterpret that like we don't want you around us. No, we just need to have space, and that means being in an open space or just being like in our own world. It doesn't mean like leave us alone. It just means like we have to have space. Right. That's such Sagittarius energy. Like we don't like feeling like we're caged in at all.
At all.
That would make sense why you would feel like that as far as like the whole space thing, because that's big Sagittarius energy.
Yep. I have this little inside joke that I swear up and down that Runaway Bride was about a Sagittarius.
Oh my God. Right? Like,
she was like, I love you, but I can't do this, you know?
That's such a misconception. Like I feel like people think that Sagittarius is run away from commitment. Like when it's the right type of commitment, like we don't hold it down.
We will stay. Exactly. We will stay.
Right there, front and center at attention hut. You know, there's nothing that we're not gonna commit to that's not for our greater good, our greatest good. But if it's something that's like, I don't really know about that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then we're out. So I definitely feel like that's a misconception because I see a lot of memes and a lot of reels that are like, you know, Sagittarius energy is, you know, or quiet as kept. You know, you can't hold a Sagittarius down. Like, says who? Like, if you're that woman, you can hold us down.
And I have to say this, Sagittarius is a fiery sign. Unless you know how to contain the fire in a way that the flame can maintain its flame, then of course you will have that view. Like no,
It
like
takes a special type of person to do that. It takes a special type of person that knows how to rock
exactly
with fire to rock with us. Okay, and you know that because you got nothing but fire in your chart, so you already know what
nothing.
time.
Yes.
So I need to go into the deeps when it comes to that. But takes a special type of person to hold down a Sagittarius. So
Yep.
that's it for what it's worth. So did you want to get into the card reading, or did you want
Yes.
to?
Cause it
Okay.
so Ashley and I talked literally we hadn't talked all day. This is literally like our basically like our first time talking today. And
Yeah.
so Spirit had already told me to do like a spiritual forecast. And I was like, oh who? Like I have never come on, realist one. I see you, Sag. Um
Energy all day.
but bless you. Blessings. Come on. But I had never heard of it before in this manner. And so Spirit wanted me to pull cards for what's currently happening and then, of course, what's to come. And so the first card was the Seven of Wands, meaning that you need to take control or currently you're taking control of the situation. You're
Thank you.
You're in your energy, you in your spot, you're holding it down. And then the next part was the Sun card. So you have your Sun, so you're working towards your blessings. Basically you're because you're maintaining and holding things down, and um you're taking leadership basically of your destiny. Your destiny is coming to fruition because the next card is the Hierophant card. You're getting your blessings. And on this Hierophant card, there are two keys at the bottom. And there, of course, there's two people. But what I heard Spirit say was that you have the keys to unlock your destiny. So it's in your hands. Nobody else can change that for you. And then the lastly was the Two of Cups. Now, normally the Two of Cups is like a relationship card, but what I heard was that this partnership is between you and Spirit. So whatever you and Spirit have was working on, or is working on, or is planning to working on, that's what this is talking about. This is your current energy, like you're basically fulfilling the contract that you and Spirit had before coming to this earth. And then what's to come? And then I said, what is to come that we should be aware of, or what's a warning? And the first card that came out was the King of Cups, which means that a lot of us have been in our happiness, but something is trying to come for our happiness. And I said, okay, so what's the next one? The next card is the Four of Wands, meaning it's something that's dealing with your family, your household. Something is trying to cause division in your household, which is why I thought it was ironic that we started the readings off with our moon signs connected to our mother. So that only lead me to believe that some relationships are dealing with the mother. So if you're having a clash with your mother at this time, just be aware of that, because that is trying to cause division, to kind of deter you away from your destiny. Because again, your mother birthed you, right? So you always have that connection with her. And so if you have a disruption in the connections that you have, then that means that it has ample amount of time and energy to disrupt your destiny. Oh, and also while you were talking earlier, I heard Deborah. So I don't know if anyone out there has a mother that's named Deborah, whether she's living or she has passed on. I heard her name. So definitely, if that's your mother's name, or what's her name, please definitely pay attention to what is being said tonight. I didn't mean to say that earlier. The next was the Six of Wands, excuse me. And with this, I really picked up arrogance. Don't be arrogant during this time. And again, it's ironic because we're in Aries moon. Aries are known for being arrogant. I love you if you're an Aries out there, but you can be arrogant at times. But in this warning, it's saying don't be arrogant. Maintain your stature of peace, even if you know that the person is absolutely incorrect. Maintain your peace. Hold your horses. Um, Nisha's going to laugh at this, but we had this inside joke. This book that I was reading, and in one of the instructions, it said to one of the instructions was to be still, and so we had this joke that says, "Bitch, be still." So, like, right, like, don't do nothing that's going to disrupt your destiny. Just be still and let spirit handle it. So I do want to share that, like, you have to be still. Right, so she's laughing all year.
Which is hard, especially when you always on the go. Let me just make that be known. It's hard to be still when you always on the go.
Exactly. So, and it's like you have to take that time for yourself, to hear and to see what spirit is doing. Um, because it's going to look different, especially if it's something new. We're in a new year, so things are going to start looking differently. But this attack is going to be coming for your family, your blessings, your destiny. And the last card was the Eight of Wands, meaning that it's coming quickly. So you have to be still so you can know what's coming towards you. Because I don't know exactly, because I'm not doing individual readings. I can't tell you what exactly it's going to look like. But if you be still, you will see where the problem, what they say. I'm getting a visual right now. It's almost as if you're rewinding, like your loss prevention, and you're watching the tapes to see who stole what from the store. It's like when you being still, you are watching everything, and you can pinpoint exactly where the problem, or where the situation went wrong, how it went wrong, what was done, what was said, who was involved. You can pinpoint it when you are still, because your watchful eye, your natural and your spiritual eye, is open and in tune to that problem. Now, I haven't looked at the bottom of the cards. So the bottom of the cards right now, for what's happening right now, is the moon. So it's like your destiny is no longer being hidden from you. It's things are being revealed to you at this moment. And then okay. And then for what's to come, what is happening in the future, the problem, it is the Six of Cups, meaning it's something that's spinning off from your childhood or something from the past. The past is trying to bring its head back up to cause disruption. So if you've had relationship problems in the past with your mother, get ready to have that conversation. Get ready to sit down and problem solve, as opposed to being defensive and being arrogant and saying, I'm not going to address this issue. We are not going to talk about it. No, now is the perfect time to talk about it. Now is the time to clear the air, so that once the air is clear, the blessings and anything that spirit has for you can come in with ease and with a natural flow.
That is powerful, Brian. Can I just build off of that last card that you just read, because that's powerful, and I think that we need to know how powerful that is. That the relationship with our parents, especially our mothers, kind of lay the foundation on how we see the world, how we see women. How we perceive women. I think that that's important to understand, understand, and overstand. And a lot of people don't want to have conversations that are uncomfortable, because then that may bring up uncomfortable memories, and that may completely shift the whole dynamic of the relationship. But that's when you grow, when you're uncomfortable, because nothing grows when you're comfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I think that's where we need to start, having those uncomfortable conversations with our parents, with our mothers. Yeah. And I know that we always talk about that generation with the baby boomers or Generation X. They really didn't tell us a lot about their childhood, how they grew up, things that happened. And our generation is kind of trying to shift that narrative. Right. Even with me, I had to be a lot more vocal with letting my children know, listen, mommy's just not having a good day. I need to rest. Give me 5 minutes. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whereas opposed to my parent was just, let me know, listen, you can't do that because you can't do it, and that's final, that's law. So yep. Really just trying to change the narrative of repeating what our parents did with us, because it's so easy to fall into that pattern. Well, my mom did this, so I'm gonna, teach my kids this way. My dad disciplined me this way, so I'm gonna, discipline you that way. Exactly. Children. So it's easy for us to fall into that pattern. So getting back to my initial statement I was trying to make, I think that we need to have those uncomfortable conversations with our parents. Yep. Simply put. And I can almost hear someone saying, okay, but what if my parents are dead? You can still have those conversations with them. You may not be able to hear their response, but you may be able to feel it. And so for me, I do want to share 2 instances. So I do believe that my godmother, my original godmother, was sent to be my guardian angel since being on this side of life and on the other side, because she transitioned when I was 9 years old, and that was the first in her death was the hardest hit death that I have ever had in my life, ever. And I couldn't understand it, but the night of her funeral, I was at some friend's house. They were older. They were like my other godparents or what have you. And I felt somebody watching me, and I turned over. And she was sitting in the chair watching over me, and it freaked me out. And I turned her back and I said, I love you, but please don't do that again. Please leave. And I turned back and she had left, or did make herself reveal to me. And so now fast forwarding, I listen to other, seers and tarot readers and stuff. And, I've gotten the message that, there's somebody on the other side always watching you, being proud of you, rooting for you, whispering things to you. And when you don't know or recognize something, and you get this idea, sometimes it really is your loved ones on the other side whispering sweet things and sweet ideas into your mind. So I've always thought, it has to be her, because, she's there. And sometimes I'll just think about her out of the blue, right? And then a few years ago, my father passed. And there are times when I say, I just need to hear your voice. And all of a sudden, I will hear him cloud as day. Well, son, I'm right here. I love you. And a lot of people don't have that, but it's almost as if you just speak it out, even if you can't hear it, something will happen around you or near you that they're going to signify to you that I have heard you, I am here with you, and I still love you. Which is what Deborah said, by the way. She did leave a message, I love you. But I don't know what the circumstance is, because, Deborah could be in a coma for all I know. And Deborah wants her child to know that I love you. I still love you, But
I said all of that to say, get it off your chest. Stop holding it in, even if your parents has gone on, because they will respond. They are still here. They're what I call the other side of life. Life still exists. Um,
Right.
so yeah, say it.
Right. And I think people, what was I going to say? People think that when somebody passes on, that's it, it's over, that's final, that's law, and it's not. They're just transitioning. Because I don't even say that somebody died anymore. I say they have transitioned to the next assignment, because that's exactly what they're doing. Death is not final. Death is not, it's done, that's it. Like, they transition to the next assignment, unless, something happens and they get stuck. But that's a whole nother video.
Okay, because I was, yeah.
I think that's the reason why we have these haunted houses, because people get stuck. Because as you know, Brian, I'm into like all of that next world, quantum physics type shit. And I truly believe that if your heart is heavy and you die with a lot on your chest, like, it's hard for you to transition. And I think that's the reason why we have these haunted houses.
Right.
And these people that say, hey, I can't, don't live there, don't go to this place at this hour because, it gets haunted. That shit is real. Like, because spirits can't leave. So it's like, what else they got to do? I can't leave, so I'm with your peace while I'm stuck here.
Right.
But I was going to say, in regards to how you can tell if someone is trying to contact you from the other world or the other realms, I have a video actually on that. It's on YouTube. It's on Agnes Intuitive, and you can access that video. I did it a couple years ago, so it's, further down in the queue. But watch it. Watch it if you ever feel like, the lights are flickering, the radio's going off and on, your electronics are acting up, or your cat or your dog is just being cuckoo. Typically, that means that someone from the other side is trying to contact you.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually what that means. And so I did a video breaking that down on how you can tell that someone from the other side is trying to contact you. So when you get a chance, go on over to my YouTube and check that out, because that stuff is real. And what better person to help you than someone who's already crossed over and knows exactly what's going on?
Exactly.
They have more power on the other side than we do here. I always say that, like, it's more power in the spiritual realm. Everything is spiritual. And I think people that base their reality on logic, they're in for a rude awakening. You can't, like, everything is not logic. Spirituality sometimes has no logic. Sometimes you don't know what you know and why you know it. You just do. Sometimes I'm like, damn, why do I have to know what I know? Like, why am I having all these dreams? Like, it's spirituality. Mm-hmm. It's all connected to spirituality, and spirituality is so underrated. But you're about to see the rise in that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Spirituality. People we underestimating spirituality, but you're about to see the rise in that. But yeah, when you guys get a chance, check out that video, because now that the veil has been thinned and it's getting thinner by the minute, you're going to start to see a lot more stuff, a lot more freaky stuff that you thought didn't exist and wasn't possible, because that veil is getting thin. From the spiritual world to, this realm. So y'all are going to see a lot of things, a lot more things happening. What you think about that incident that happened in Miami? Speaking of weird stuff, what do you think of that? Because I think that was completely spiritual. But what's your take on it?
I was going to say you have to update me. You have. I missed it. I've been unplugged from the TV and things.
Which is fine, because sometimes you gotta unplug from the media, because it's a whole nother job to keep up with what's going on. But supposedly it was they're saying it was a fight. Like, a fight broke out between kids, but every police officer in Miami came down to this mall to break up this fight between teenagers, which is like really uncanny for police officer, like I'm talking like almost 300 policemen, came to this mall to break up this fight. And that's what they're saying. The news is reporting this, but people that were actually there at the mall are saying that they saw these beings that weren't human. They were like as tall as trees, and they were first on all fours, and then they got up and they stood up, and it was like looking at like a damn building, basically. And a lot of people have been coming forward with a lot more stories talking about this, and I just think that it was a portal that opened, and which it allowed me.
I was going to say that's important, is because and we're going to get there one day, because I have some feng shui cards. So I do know that, but that's why spirituality is important, because we have to know where these portals are. And because people aren't tapped in, they'll just build a building on top of portals, and people can do things spiritually, not realizing that it's spiritual, and release things out from the other realm. Right. Yes, people get possessed by these spirits, and they don't know what's going on. Possession is real. I was just sharing with someone last night that, when as a kid, again, for those who are first timers, I grew up in the church. Both of my parents were ministers. And so when I was younger, they started playing Revelation movies and talking about the end of days, right? And that was, I guess that was the opening of my spiritualness, because all of a sudden I started having visitations from spirits, light and dark. So I'm just like, what's going on? Like I was in a room full of demons, but I wasn't afraid. And they weren't trying to touch me. They weren't trying to do anything. So I know for a fact that demonic spirits are real. Angelic spirits are real, because they visited me frequently as a kid. And I'm talking about age 5 and 6. And I remember them so vividly. So it's important to understand about portals, and how you protect yourself from them. And we never know what activated that portal in that facility for that chaos to happen. And people just think, oh, these people's off their rocker. These kids just went wild. No, they were possessed, more than likely. They caused a little chaos. And that's because the spiritual world is trying to let you know that, hey, this world is coming to the point where you're not going to be able to tell the difference between what is spiritual and what is reality, because the worlds are starting to mesh. I mean, the worlds are already here, but one is being more revealed. And I have this message on healing. Well, I got to pull it on YouTube, because I did it on Facebook. My platform started on Facebook first. But I remember I had this message called Green Screen Faith, where I talk about having the faith, like where you can't see it. But what came out of that message is that the spiritual world is like the green screen, or this world is like the green screen. The spiritual world sees the green screen, but this world shows the picture that is revealed on the green screen. I hope that you could understand that. But either way, it's like what we don't see is what the spiritual world sees. And because of that, we don't know what we're walking into, what we're stepping into, anything. Because there were times as a kid, I would walk into certain places, and it was like I went through a portal. And I'm like, what is this? Like I had to stop. And people was like, if I was with a group of people, they're like, why'd you stop? And I'm just like, y'all didn't feel that? And they're like, no, feel what? And I just kept quiet, because I didn't know how to explain it. But it was like a ripple effect.
There are portals everywhere, and I think people need to be mindful of that. And it's not to scare you, it's not to install fear in you, but people, I think, are in disbelief that this world is ran through spirituality. It's ran through spells, it's ran through incantations, and people need to know that. Like, spells are real, spirituality is real, and portals are real, and they're portals every which way that you can imagine. Mirrors are portals. There's portals in water, in oceans. They're everywhere. So the deeper you get into spirituality, when you deep dive into spirituality, you're gonna go down deep in the rabbit hole. And I always say, just make sure you don't drown. You can go deep in that hole, but just make sure you get back up and get some air every now and then, because you're gonna go so far down to where you're just gonna be like, wow, like this is too much. Like, I'm not ready for all of this.
Right.
So take baby steps when it comes to spirituality, because you will be shocked and surprised at a lot of the things that you uncover once you have your spiritual awakening. And once I had my spiritual awakening, I questioned everything. But I had to make sure I came up out of that rabbit hole for air, and make sure that I stayed in reality and not in the clouds, so to speak. Right.
And I do apologize, because Spirit reminded me you did not pull the cards, and I said, ooh. So Spirit wanted me to pull a Divine Animal Oracle card, right? And so I don't think it's not off time. It's not off topic, because one thing that Ashley has on her video, if you go to her videos, is talking about groundedness. And the only way you can tell about your spiritual journey and understanding where these portals are located, or if you are grounded enough to recognize what you are experiencing. Because and even with the cards that we pulled earlier, you have the work that you're going to be doing with Spirit. You have to stay grounded so that you can hear and feel and see what Spirit is doing, so that you're not missing a step. You don't want to skip a step. You don't want to fast forward through a step and mess something up, because your literally your destiny is involved. And what came out is number 7, the armadillo card. And I'm going to read it to you really quickly. And it says, groundedness. Without grounding ourselves, we can become disconnected and flighty. So it is an important aspect to develop. Go to the basics first, plug into the power of the earth, avoid drama in situations. Sometimes we need to look at the flowers at our feet before looking to the stars. Humility is a positive trait. False humility is not. And again, when we were talking about the moon signs with your mother, so if you're having that issue with your parents, get it together. Go. What did it say? It said avoid drama in situations. And mind you, the card said that what's coming quickly is drama within your household. So you have to avoid it by staying grounded, so the Spirit can show you where the perpetrator or what the situation is that's coming in to destroy that relationship. And I do want to. They do talk about the guide, but I want to read this point, because it's a Mayan guide. And it reads, it says the Mayans put special consideration into the depiction, of their gods, with every single piece of clothing signifying the character and qualities of the deity. The armadillo, with its shell, indicated not only an animal of the ground, but the protection of a shield. It is thought then that God El was related to war. His special shoes, walking stick, indicate a trader and someone who has to move over distances in a safe and steady way. God El may have had a role in the building of prosperity through trade. Again, trade is your business. Trade is what you're about to do with whatever you and Spirit is cooking up and working on. It doesn't need to be disturbed, and you have to put on this shield. And the only way you can get this shield properly is by being grounded. And then it says armadillos also feature in the mythos of the Aztecs, who called them turtle rabbits. and in some of the First Nation stories of the peoples of the southern United States. And so I did just want to read that little bit of history. But again, if you stay grounded, you're going to stay protected. Even when you go through these portals, I'm sure that there were some people in that mall that were protected and they did not get affected because they already knew I got it. That's why we wear certain jewelries. That's why we use certain symbols. That's why we have anointing oils and waters and Florida water. Come on. How ironic. You right there in Florida with Florida water, and you mean to tell me chaos happened? It was because they were not prepared the right way. They were not prepared.
And a lot of people don't know what's going on because they're not tapped in. Let's keep that in mind too. A lot
They're
of
not
people
tapped
aren't
in.
tapped in. They're not believing what their eyes are even seeing. Like they're just like, oh, that wasn't real. You know, I see it. It's right in front of me, but it can't be real. Like it could be because I've never seen anything like that, nor have I even imagined that something like that could happen in this lifetime on this planet. You know? So a lot of people have to stop thinking that the unexpected can't happen. I'll say that.
I think someone has. Yeah, I was like, as somebody has a question. I have tarot cards, but I'm not sure if I read them right. Usually there is a booklet that comes with it. Use your booklet. If not, look for the Tarot Bible. I bought in Azari. Okay. But if you look, Barnes and Nobles have a tarot Bible that explains, okay, that explains what each tarot card means. And if you look at that book, it'll teach you what each book means. And as you begin to use your cards more and more, you will have the understanding of what each card means. And so for this deck, they also suggest that you look at the cards and you see what it means for you.
I love Biddy Tarot.
Yeah.
I love Biddy Tarot. That's my favorite to go to. Also, I was gonna tell official Ray Doll to also, once you get like a good interpretation and once you get like more familiar with the cards, then you're gonna start using your intuition. And you're gonna just look at the picture and see what comes to mind and what's the first thing that you think of when you look at the card. Because that's what I've been doing. I don't know all of the tarot cards, but I know that I trust myself. So whatever I think of when I first see that card, that's what comes out when I do readings. And 10 times out of 10 is usually accurate without me even knowing what that card actually means because I'm trusting my intuition. And a lot of tarot card readers will tell you that. You know, you can know what the card means, what it represents, pentacles, money, you know, cups, emotions, but you're going to have to really go within.
And also meditate. Meditation will help start off connecting you with your tuition. Yep. And that's good. And that's good that you read yourself. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, start with yourself because you know yourself better than anyone. So I read my ex and I came back negative. I was so spooked. Yeah, because the cards don't lie. What Beyonce say in that movie, the cards never lie. Crystals are good too. Crystals protect any unwarranted energy. So make sure you cleanse the cards. Do you cleanse your cards too, B? I cleanse mine with Palo Santo.
Yes, I have my Palo Santo right here. You can't see it, but I have my stick of Palo Santo. And it's and I use candles. You don't have to, I mean, not everybody has to use candles or whatnot, but I know what Spirit has asked me to do. So yes, come on. And sage, yes.
I love Florida water. The only sage I use, Brian knows this, is red dragon's blood sage. That's the only sage I with. That's the only one I like. But you can use any type of sage. Just me personally, I only like red dragon's blood sage. Normally flora Or Jumper Sage is my go-to.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Red Dragon's Blood Sage. Yeah, me too, realist. I love Sage. The
Listen.
smell is not my favorite, but I rock with Sage all day.
Yes,
All day, every day.
Sage will have your room smelling like sage for days. So I'll be like, ooh.
Yeah, the scent is very potent and it's hard to get rid of, but it clears everything out. Just make sure when you do it, you open the windows and you let that old energy out.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that. When you sage, you have to open the windows. Otherwise, the energy is just circulating right back to you, honey. So make sure you open the windows and let that energy out. So, well, do you have anything else to say, B? Because I think this concludes the third episode of Cards and Conversations. We have been on here officially an hour. Doesn't feel like it. Read about frankincense and mirth. Those are good too.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good. High vibrational. Those are great too. I use them all.
Listen, you will. I there have been times when I've been in spaces and I have smelled frankincense and there was none burning. I told you, Ashley told y'all I have the clairs. I really do. It's
that tells you right there.
It was like, amazing.
So much and we appreciate you being online this late. I'm not sure where you're tapping in from, but we really appreciate you being on and being so active with, asking us questions and this, that, and the third. Appreciate it. And make sure you tune in every Tuesday. We'll be on here. Mississippi. Woo! M-I, pick a letter I, humpback hump, I-P-P-I. Because I was always spelling wrong, and that's how I learned how to spell it. Yeah. I'm a horrible speller, just like my brother, and that's how to spell it. It's okay. Child would have spelled it wrong too.
Look, we knew what you meant. Down in the paint.
And I was saying before I started spelling it, make sure you tap in with us every Tuesday here at 1111 Angel Number, because we do Cards and Conversations every Tuesday at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. So
yes,
we appreciate y'all being on with us. Hell yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
Listen, I know Shereen, and thank you, Realist. Realist is the realist. The realist and the illest. Thank you for being on.
Okay.
Yeah, we understood what you meant. It's all good. It's great. So you're good with us. So we thank you guys for tapping in with us. Don't feel stage. I told you, I'm a horrible speller too. So don't feel that at all. I'm a terrible speller. But that's why you have spell check, because if people knew how I really spelled, they'd be like, she couldn't have wrote that because I use spell check. Like I'm deep when it comes to like writing stuff, but I always have to spell check it. Otherwise it looks like it's in Ebonics. And they're like, what does that say? So anyway, so that concludes our third episode of Cards and Conversations, where every episode unfolds a deck of intriguing discussions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone, we really appreciate it, and make sure you guys are tapped in and tuned in next week, Tuesday at 11:11 for episode 4. We're gonna keep it on the hush hush on what we're gonna be talking about, because me and B, still have to get a couple of things worked out, because we have so many different ideas with us having so much fire in our chart. We have so many topics we want to discuss. We have to narrow it down. Like, do we not, B? We want to talk about everything under the sun. It's only an hour. Like, damn, y'all get it together. So we'll let you guys know next Tuesday what exactly we'll be honing in on. But thank you guys for rocking with us. We know it's late. We appreciate it. We love you guys. We value you. And we'll see you next week on Cards and Conversations.
Yes.
At 11.
11:11. Hey. 11. So for those of you who are joining in, this is what I look like, for one. But you can find that webcast on Instagram under Creative, CREATUVE underscore INNERGY, Creative Energy. Um, that is my handle for Instagram. And I hope you all enjoyed the message. I hope you got something out of it. I just know that it's a lot of things that are happening in the spiritual realm. And as we say, protect what you have, protect what Spirit has for you. Don't allow these interruptions to come into your life. So you have a good night, and thank you for tuning in.